1.5-inch height deficit to Tsypko, who's unusually tall. Arm length advantage of 2 inches for the Ukrainian fighter. They weighed in within 1.5 pounds of the 168-pound limit, and tonight Lacy has gone up to 179 for a 5-pound functional weight advantage over Tsypko at 174. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Jeff Lacy Vitali Tsypko fight is scheduled for 10 rounds, non-title, using the rules of the Florida State Athletic Commission that you see on your screen. Jim, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Jim.
All right, thank you, Harold. And meanwhile, let's take a look at Vitali Tsypko. 4-1, 2 KOs. That one is the only loss of his career since his brief meeting with Jeff Lacy that took place June 5, 2004 in Joplin, Missouri. And this was a part of Lacy's rise to prominence in the division, a long string of knockouts for the guy who was a middleweight on the 2000 Olympic team in Sydney, Australia. In the middle of round 1, their heads met, a horrendous accidental head butt, which produced that massive cut on Tsypko's forehead. At the end of the 2nd round, the fight was stopped and ruled a technical draw. So this is Vitali Tsypko's 2nd crack, so to speak, at getting at Jeff Lacy. And Larry Merchant, he spent a half hour with the Ukrainian fighter yesterday. He is the classic man of few words.
And among those few words, he said that despite the fact that he resembles Joe Calzaghe physically, a tall southpaw, he doesn't think that anything that Calzaghe did, he can use from his style.
Emmanuel, you've had him in your training camp. What kind of a guy is Vitali Tsypko?
A basic fighter. He's nothing that exceptional, but he's a good boxer. And right now, if he's really focused and in good shape, and he should be stimulated like anyone after seeing the beating that Calzaghe put on Lacy, because Lacy is very vulnerable to anybody now to have confidence about beating.
In the months since his loss to Joe Calzaghe almost 9 months ago, Jeff Lacy has split from his former promoter Gary Shaw, and some say that was partially because Lacy was upset over favorable comments Shaw made about his stablemate Winky Wright. He has gotten married. He has left a Dan Birmingham supervised training camp in Las Vegas to come back to Tampa, and that last, Larry Merchant, leaving his trainer Dan Birmingham in Las Vegas and coming back here may be the most disquieting to those around him of all of the actions that have taken place since the Calzaghe fight.
Yeah. He said that Las Vegas was too boring for him.
That's very difficult to believe.
And I think that reflects the tumult that he has been going through. He called what happened in Wales a bad day. A bad day is when your boss whips up on you or your check bounces. He had a Michael Richards type bad day that night.
Lacy was quite confident, at least outwardly so, prior to his arrival in Manchester to fight Calzaghe. But in the months since, he has decided, in retrospect apparently, it was a bad idea to go to Manchester. It was a bad idea to fight at an odd hour. It was a bad idea to eat English food.
Well, he should have thought about all of that before he got on the plane going over there.
No, he's got to find some way that he can get back into the ring and have some self-belief. One of the things he said was, that wasn't me in there. Well, I think a jury would have convicted him. That was him.
Well,
and the question that comes up is, was he really overrated and Calzaghe just underrated?
He has an identity as a puncher. When punchers get taken apart by boxers, it is often difficult for them to regain their confidence. That is the challenge Jeff Lacy faces as he begins the road back from the Calzaghe destruction tonight. Let's go to ring announcer Lupe Contreras now for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the St. Pete Times Forum in Tampa, Florida, we welcome you to an evening of world-class professional boxing being brought to you by Winky Promotions, along with Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, in association with Rockstar Energy Drink. Party like a rock star. These bouts are being sanctioned by the Florida State Boxing Commission Chairman Eduardo La Casa. Vice Chairman Don Bowen. Commissioners Barbara Auger, Ramiro Ortiz, and Dr. Donald Perry. Executive Director is Thomas Malloy. Timekeeper Candyman Bill Anello. And our physicians at ringside, we have Doctors Adam Brunson along with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. This is our co-featured bout of the evening, set for 10 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. The judges are Paul Herman, Mike Patrick, and Mark Streisand. Referee, Tommy Kimmons. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he steps into the ring wearing blue trunks, trimmed in white, and weighing in at 167 pounds. His professional record, 19 victories, with 1 lone defeat, 1 no decision, and 10 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Dnipropetrovsk, Ukraine, Vitali Tsypko. His opponent across the ring in the red corner. He steps in, paying tribute to America's troops wearing the colors of camouflage. And weighing in at 166.5 pounds. As an amateur, he proudly represented the USA in the 2000 Olympics. And as a professional, he maintains a record consisting of 21 victories, with 1 defeat, 1 no decision, and 17 of his victories coming by way of knockout. The former IBF super middleweight champion of the world, from St. Petersburg, Florida, Jeff Left Hook Lacy.
Take his jacket off. Get his shirt off. Take his jacket off. Gentlemen, this is a 10-round fight, and I gave you the instructions. I want to remind you, this opponent's here to watch you fight, so keep it clean. Touch him up.
Joe Calzaghe not only schooled Lacy, he flunked him and expelled him. This is an attempt by Lacy to get back into school.
After a long wait, round 1 is finally the bell for round 1 is finally sounded, and Vitali Tsypko acknowledged to us yesterday he is an overt southpaw. Lacy fires a right hand down the pipe that lands. The possibility of their heads coming together again is quite good.
Yep, and right now, Lacy's landing punches straight through the center for the most part. And Vitali is not moving his head at all. He's just keeping it right there. He's not slipping at all, or either pulling back a step and throwing a hook with his right hand. He's just standing right there.
Now he finally throws a punch, does Vitali Tsypko, letting the jab go after having taken some early shots from Jeff Lacy. And Lacy there is able to land a left hook, and now throws the right down the pipe again.
He's throwing left and right, everything straight between the gloves. There he right again. He's not throwing anything on the outside, just simply straight through the center.
And Tsypko, with no head movement, has so far been a sitting duck for Lacy's power shots. It's no way to fight Jeff.
No, and if he continues to fight like that, this fight won't be long.
Boom. Lacy's right hand shot partially blocked, but he had a very good idea with it. Now Lacy lands a jab. Tsypko starts to counter with his jab.
Tsypko's doing very good. If he keeps working his right hand jabbing and hooking off of it, he stands a chance. But once again, he's still getting hit straight through the center.
Lacy working very well with a straight right hand through the center. It's the basic offensive tactic to use against a southpaw like Tsypko, and Lacy has mastered it early. Very intense Jeff Lacy in round one.
Yeah, but you know, what he's doing right there, with a more intelligent fighter, he would have a problem. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's going straight through the center, since he's found out that the guy has no defense for his straight punches. And with a more intelligent fighter who would be jabbing him and moving to the side, he would have a problem.
Tsypko's face is reddening as he absorbs power shots continuously from Lacy here in round one. Lacy's landed 9 of 19 power shots already in the round, and some of them are perfect flush right hands up the middle.
Second guessing himself, Emmanuel Lacy said he didn't box enough against Calzaghe, going for the knockout. You think he could have boxed with Calzaghe?
I don't think so. I think he just basically seemed like he wasn't there. He really underestimated his opponent and overestimated his own talent going into that fight.
Well, maybe he couldn't have boxed Calzaghe per se, but shouldn't he have tried to use the jab more to set up his power shots rather than just waiting on a big punch?
Calzaghe fought a very good fight. I never expected him to beat Lacy. In fact, I picked Lacy to win the fight. But Calzaghe is a much more elusive and balanced out fighter than I ever anticipated. He actually beat Lacy on the inside as well as outside.
Watching Calzaghe against Lacy, you got a sense of why he's never lost a professional fight.
Right, I have much respect for him.
But that was a good round for Lacy. His first round since that thrashing.
And as we go to Vitali Tsypko's corner, where the trainer will speak Russian, our interpreter is Mark Leibovich.
Vitali, I want you to be more active. Come on. Just work him up. Work him up. Work up. Just like you did last time. Remember, left, right, left. Jab from the right side. But don't keep him at a long distance, okay?
Give him a feint of juke. He's scared of you. He's nervous. Give him a feint. Double jab sometimes so the right hand will come as you're coming forward.
You saw trainer Dan Birmingham talking to Lacy between rounds. Remember, Birmingham is also the trainer for Winky Wright. So what this means is that Dan Birmingham is not with Winky Wright in his dressing room as he prepares. And there's a big right hand by Lacy that knocks Tsypko halfway across the ring. Lacy was 13 out of 25 power shots in round one, and round two starts the same way, Emmanuel.
He can't miss him. Tsypko doesn't move his head at all. He just keeps it straight there. If he would just move off to the side, anything, he could present a problem. But right now, Lacy's fighting a perfect fight and just shooting power punches because he found out he can hit the guy at any time he desires to hit him.
There's a large welt under the right eye of Vitali Tsypko now.
In his corner, Tsypko was told to get close to Lacy.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but he just needs to move his head more. Do what he wants to do, outside or inside, but he's got to move his head. But if he doesn't move his head, it doesn't matter whatever he does.
Well, Lacy isn't moving in his head either, so it's just going to be a shootout to see who can land the harder punches fast.
I'm just guessing, based on what I've seen in the first round and a half, Vitali Tsypko doesn't have nearly the kind of power that Jeff Lacy has in his punches.
Jeff is a strong puncher, not really what he pictures himself as being a real devastating puncher.
Well, and it appears
their heads come together.
It appears that Tsypko is mostly concerned with neutralizing Lacy's left hook, and that's why the right hand is coming straight through.
But actually, if Tsypko punches more, he's
Tsypko throws a left and landed it, beating Lacy to the punch.
Well, if he's not going to avoid getting hit with those punches, the best thing he can do is start firing back himself, because he is landing when he does punch.
Better let his left hand go. He's not going to be able to control Lacy just with the right, or so it would appear. Lacy again pops him with the right hand straight up the middle.
If he neutralizes that one punch, he could do okay. Lacy's right hand
hasn't come close to neutralizing it yet. That time Lacy sweeps the right and falls short, but when he throws it straight up the pipe, he's landing it over and over and over. And that is marking up Tsypko's face.
The right hook works very effective for Tsypko when he throws it.
Body shot from Tsypko. Lacy lands another thudding right. Tsypko stepping forward into a Lacy left hook. Tsypko finally manages to block a Lacy right with his gloves.
And when Tsypko throws his left hand, he should throw it through the center the same way that Lacy is throwing his right hand. But he throws it on the outside, if you notice.
He loops it.
He loops it instead of shooting it straight through the center where Lacy is very vulnerable.
That looping left hand by Tsypko could give Lacy a chance to counter with a straight right.
And also to cause a collision of heads when they throw those wide gaps.
Another thudding right hand up the middle by Lacy to punctuate round 2.
Good work, good work, good work. Now start bringing the left hook. 1, 2, and get close. Boom, bang. You find you're not close enough, double the jab. Boom, boom, bang. Okay. Good work, good work. You're busting his ass up, Jeff.
Small fin on his right eye with a punch.
Thank you. A couple deep ones. Relax. Now you got him jittery. Now start using your feint a little bit. Okay. And that double right hand.
Listen to me. Work left hand. Work left hand more. And be more active.
Here you can see Lacy landing the punch has been the most dominant punch in the entire fight. A straight right hand right through the center.
There's been a lot of sharp right hands by Lacy. That one got the crowd's attention as Tsypko skittered across the ring, but Jeff has landed that punch 20 or 30 times already. Power shots in round 2, Lacy 11 out of 30, Tsypko 8 out of 22.
What Tsypko did just there, he should do more often when he moved his head slightly over to his left and avoided the straight punches from Lacy. And if he does that and will pick up his volume, he stands a chance of winning this fight.
That would be shocking to most in the crowd who think they see a wipeout so far, Emmanuel.
So far, but I still see signs that Tsypko could win this fight. I see Lacy starting to fall apart, getting a little sloppy right now.
In Tsypko's corner, they asked him to throw more left hands. But as Emmanuel Stewart has pointed out, Tsypko has a tendency to loop the left.
Let's go.
May be dangerous to throw it a lot under those circumstances. Straight shot would work better.
Well, I think he just needs to pick up his volume right now. It seems his punches are still sharper and more crisper at this stage than Lacy. And that's the proper move. What he did just there, slipping to the side and letting the punch go over his head. The right hand was coming from Lacy.
With a quick right hook for Tsypko. Partially blocks the right hand up the middle.
Now he's neutralizing Lacy's best punch.
And he lands his own straight left hand, which is potentially a punch that he can score with. Lacy with another right hand. Tsypko lands a little right hook and this time flips the straight right and lands a left over the top.
Tsypko must be some kind of way getting a message back what I'm saying during the broadcast because he's starting to avoid getting hit with the right hands now. That's the shot right there.
Left hand down the pipe. That's right. And there it is again. This is the mirror image of what Lacy's been doing to Vitali, but now Vitali Tsypko is seizing the initiative. So Lacy feels the need to come back, hits him with a right hand over the top. Tsypko shows he can wrestle, holds his own in the infighting for the moment. Uppercut partially landed for Lacy, right hook landed for Tsypko.
Tsypko is punching with much more crispness and more power than Lacy right now.
Good right hook for Tsypko. And Tsypko's confidence begins to rise as he lands a left.
And if you notice, he hasn't got hit with the right hand just round.
Steps away from the right hand there. No, he's been much more effective ducking, slipping, or sliding away from the right hand in this round. And starting to let his left go as Lacy lunges into it there.
Let's go.
There's a cut that came as a result of the collision of heads right there.
It finally came together again, so there's Tsypko cut in the third round, and he responds by hitting Lacy with two of his best punches of the fight. Lacy finally manages to land another right hand. Now Tsypko covering up as Lacy suddenly gets very active and misses with those punches.
I saw actually Lacy threw a lot of punches, but I didn't see anything land.
I agree.
Clean.
He did not land down the stretch. Tsypko got the better of that round in my view. We'll see what Harold Letterman has to say when we show you the beginnings of his card at the beginning of the next round.
Work with him. You see, you stop working. Hit him more and more. You see, he's tired. So don't wait.
Here you can see the headbutt right here when they both collided, throwing looping punches. And that's what I was expecting earlier in the fight. And I'm glad that at least it didn't happen in the first 2 rounds.
And the cut is to the left side of Tsypko's left eye.
Punches going to the outside of the heads going to the inside.
Lacy said, this is a perfect time to be fighting me, meaning after that loss to Calzaghe and with the 9-month layoff. We'll see how perfect it is if he can continue where he left off in the Tsypko can continue where he left off in the last round.
He had better numbers than Lacy on power shots in the 3rd round. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I agree with you. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28, Jeff Lacy. Jim, I got to tell you, Jeff Lacy in the first 2 rounds landed some monumental straight right hands. I got to tell you, he misses the looping right hand, but the straight right hand gets in there. If he would have hit him, he would have knocked him out. Tsypko definitely won the 3rd round. In any case, if the fight gets stopped in this round, it's a no decision. If it goes beyond the 4th, we go to the scorecards to determine the winner. If the fight is stopped on that cut that Tsypko has.
Right now, Tsypko seems to be the fresher in terms of his punches compared to Lacy.
No punches.
And while Tsypko's left eye is bleeding just outside the eye from the cut that was brought on by that headbutt, Lacy's right eye is beginning to swell from the Tsypko left hand.
Tsypko is landing much better precision punches right now.
He is landing that left hand with metronome precision for the last round and a half.
Well, what he's doing now is he's seeing the right hand coming and stepping back so that it doesn't reach him with full force as it was in the first couple of rounds, and still working with his right hand to neutralize the left hook, which is Lacy's best shot.
And Lacy's right eye is closing up too. He's swelling quite badly at this stage.
Guys, get out of there. Let him go.
There's the punch right
for
there.
Tsypko, and another one, and this one actually stunned Lacy and moved him back.
So far, maybe the best clean punch of the entire fight was that straight left hand right there from Tsypko.
No punches. Step clean.
Well, it was, let's say it was on a par with some of the right hands Lacy threw in the first couple of rounds, when he was skittering Tsypko around the ring with the right hand. But now, Tsypko is settling into a tactical groove, and Lacy may have to find another answer.
Let him go. Work that at it.
The cut man and Tsypko's corner, Malcolm Garrett, did a great job so far, because that's a bad cut.
Malcolm Garrett, one of those longtime pros, totally anonymous within the sport. You'll see him in a camp here, camp there. He pops up all over the place, kind of like Miguel Diaz out in Vegas. Malcolm knows what he's doing. Lacy trying to break Tsypko's guard up with uppercuts and right hands. Tsypko just leaning in on him, holding the gloves in a protected position, waiting for a chance to retaliate. Quick right hook by Tsypko. And another one. Quick left hand by Tsypko.
This could be a crucial round if it ends up being stopped on accident. Well, it won't matter now.
Here's Winky Wright as we watch Jeff Lacy in action against Vitali Tsypko. Wright warms up in his dressing room without the presence of trainer Dan Birmingham, but at this stage in Winky's career, what exactly would Birmingham tell him that he hasn't heard before? Nothing. Winky Wright, veteran fighter, mature individual, knows what he's doing as he prepares to follow Jeff Lacy into the ring. Winky Wright's first fight in his hometown in 14 years against Ike Quartet. That'll be coming along immediately after the conclusion of Lacy Tsypko.
Two punches. Left, right, okay?
This is the kind of fight that for Lacy was considered a confidence builder. We'll see how much confidence he can get out of this.
CompuBox numbers in round 4 or through round 4. Lacy 57 out of 194. Tsypko 55 out of 154. So Tsypko, since he started letting his hands go in the third round, is landing at a higher connect percentage than Lacy. But both of Tsypko's eyes are swelling. There's a cut outside his left eye. Lacy is beginning to swell around the right eye. Jeff Lacy must have thought this was going to be an easy fight in the first couple of rounds when he seemed to be landing every straight right hand. Now things have become a lot more difficult as Vitali Tsypko, Larry Merchant pointed out, found a way to avoid the right hand by stepping back.
It's amazing the way the fight has turned around where it looked like it was going to be an easy fight, in particular knockout, with Lacy landing so many effective right hands, where it's now turning out to be a total out-and-out tough fight, and the momentum is going towards Tsypko.
Tsypko, you got to give him credit because he has adapted. He's tried to change what he was doing.
Jeff Lacy coming off a 272-day layoff, the longest of his career. I mean, surely anybody would have thought the long layoff was necessary after the Calzaghe fight, but of course a fighter has to readjust.
Well, now that Lacy found out he's not that effective with the straight right hand, he's trying to work inside, which I give him credit for. He's still hustling, and he's trying to pick up his points regardless.
Trying to land uppercuts as the right eye continues to swell and gets into that middle range where shutting down is possible.
Well, right now he's outworking Tsypko. Tsypko is inside but not punching. He's just physically pushing Lacy back, but he's not punching. And Lacy is actually working inside, and he may only land one or two little shots, but it's enough for him to win the battle of the exchanges right now.
So you give Lacy credit for finding a new chapter here in the third round, and the inside work sets up Lacy's best right hand since the second round.
Tsypko's volume has just cut down, and when he's busy, he's effective, but he's not busy anymore.
Yeah, I think he got a little tired from those 2 rounds where he had a big output of punches.
Possibly a little physically tired, possibly a little mentally tired too, because it takes an effort to work your way back into a fight when you've been shellacked in the first couple of rounds, as Tsypko appeared to be.
It seemed that when he got that cut, it kind of took a little out of his momentum out of it.
Trading shots at close range, both guys landing. Tsypko taking a good big punch from Lacy, coming back with a shot of his own. Good body shot by Tsypko. Spirited round.
A tough kid from the Ukraine who used to be a teammate of Vladimir Klitschko on the national amateur team.
If you do that, if you work like that, you will get tired very soon. Just be more active. Be more active, but use your intellect, okay? But other than that, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Hit him to the body. Throw the right hand 3-4 times. You hurt him. You wobbled his ass. Take a drink.
Wait
a second.
This way.
Take a couple deep ones, Jeff. How's it feel?
Here you see Lacy getting in close, throwing a lot of right-hand punches. Maybe it may not land clean all the time, but even if they're grazing, they're doing a lot of damage inside because he's moving forward all at the same time while he's punching.
CompuBox numbers in 5. Lacy threw 62 punches. His high output for the fight landed 20. Tsypko threw 32 punches. His low output for the fight landed 14. Lacy goes back on top on the Letterman card after 5 rounds. And we move to the 6th of a scheduled 10.
Tsypko's corner gave him good instruction. They told him if he keeps fighting inside, he's just going to get tired and wear himself out, and he should get back and get a zone and a distance between him and start fighting on the outside again.
Jeff Lacy won his first 21 fights in his professional career that began after the Sydney Olympics, 17 by knockout. Was heavily favored over Joe Calzaghe in Manchester, England on March 4, got annihilated. This is the beginning of Chapter 2 of Left Hook Lacy's career.
All right, guys, don't hold him, guys.
And a tough fight that's requiring him to think, make tactical adjustments. He's done some very good things.
When Tsypko gets in close, he just shuts down completely, and that's why Jeff out-hustled him. But in fighting at a distance out there, he's very effective. When Jeff throws punches, he gets often off balance. He'll throw his right hand and actually walk through with his right feet, and he's very vulnerable for a knockdown if anyone would take advantage of that.
And by determinedly crowding Tsypko and shortening the distance, he's given himself a chance to start landing that right hand again, right?
Tsypko should keep him at a distance where he can keep making him get off balance when he punches and then take advantage of it. But he maybe would let Jeff miss, but he won't punch back after Jeff misses.
Tsypko wound up trying to land a body punch. Now gets one into the belly of Lacy, and Lacy fires back twice upstairs.
He shuts off. Once he gets in close, he just shuts off, and Jeff out-hustles him inside.
Right hand landed again for Lacy.
Lacy is now throwing one punch and lunging in and holding. After so much inactivity, he's probably a little bit tired.
Yeah, but Tsypko isn't punching back enough, though, so he's still just getting, to me, the better of those exchanges by just being busy.
Get out there, guys. Box out of there.
Good body shots by Lacy, taking advantage of close quarters. Tsypko doesn't throw nearly the volume of body shots that Lacy throws when they're crowding in.
If Lacy has to fight at a distance right now, the way he's tied and his balance, he would be at a big disadvantage.
So what can Tsypko do to reestablish that space?
He just needs to work his jab and the counter punch when he comes in.
He's not throwing the
right hook, or the right hook whenever Lacy comes in. To take advantage of Lacy losing his balance.
Tsypko seems to have forgotten what got him back into the fight.
That's where he needs to keep the fight, right at that distance, right there. And he should shoot a right jab right away as he's moving back. He landed a couple of good punches, but still let Lacy get right back on the inside and win the exchange.
At close quarters, Jeff Lacy's strength and his will to throw body punches are controlling the fight. Coming up on a special edition of Costas Now, an exclusive interview with Sports Illustrated's yet-to-be-named 2006 Sportsman of the Year. Interestingly, somebody wrote the name of the supposed winner on a card for me earlier this evening, but it's been scratched out, and now I can't read it.
Like that body. Hit that body, hit that body. He's that uppercut, step to the right. How's your shoulder? Every time
Okay, hit him on the liver, hit him on the liver. You want him out, by the way. You want him out. You have to press more and more. Right now you're doing fine. Right now you're doing fine. Just keep it that way, okay? Keep it that way. Good luck.
I think I've heard better instructions than that, Emmanuel.
CompuBox numbers through round 6. Lacy averages 14 out of 51. Tsypko averages 13 out of 37. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 4 rounds to 2, 58. 56 Jeff Lacy. Vitali Tsypko just lost control of the fight in rounds 5 and 6. Just like you said, Lacy came in and landed his right hand, took over and won those 2 rounds to go ahead 4-2. But Jim, I gotta say something interesting. Dan Birmingham at the end of rounds 5 and 6 keeps saying, how's the shoulder? And they keep putting ice on Jeff Lacy's left shoulder. It's obvious that something's wrong with it. I don't know what. They're icing it down in that corner after every round. 4-2, Lacy.
And when your nickname is Jeff Lacy.
And he's not throwing much with the left. Everything is strictly right hands throughout the entire fight.
Well,
very little coming from his left hand.
Fighting a southpaw, he would have been using his right hand more liberally anyway, perhaps.
But I think that the left hook's very, very good against southpaws because they never look for that. In the same way the southpaws, a lot of them, their best punch is their right hook.
Aggressive left hand and then a right going backward by Tsypko, and there are 2 good left hands.
Lacy got out of position again as usual. All Tsypko has to do is to pull back and let him miss. There it is again. He always gets out of balance when he throws his right hand now that he's tired.
At medium range, Tsypko is getting the better of Lacy. At close range, Lacy's getting the better of Tsypko.
Yep, he throws the right hand.
Wills here.
Right, and he's leaning in and getting in a position when he throws the right hand to work inside.
Very interesting fight coming to these last 4 rounds. Considerably more interesting than most observers thought would be the case.
Yeah, it looked like, 2 mismatches. But that's why they have the fights.
And trainer Dan Birmingham tells us that Jeff Lacy is feeling uncomfortable and that the left shoulder is sore. So Harold Letterman right on the money. Lacy has complained in his corner about his left shoulder, and that's why they're icing it. He hits Tsypko right on the back of the head. Let's see if referee Tommy Kemmons warns him. Nope.
Tsypko needs to just work his right jab, and when he comes in right there, just like it, take one step back and then punch, and not lean in. If he does that, the fight would be a very easy fight for him to win at this stage.
Tsypko seems to think at this point that he can walk Lacy into a left hand and maybe hurt him.
But he works very good with his right hook when he throws it off, so he just needs to take a step back and not have his body right there to hold up and support him.
This is an interesting round. Lacy is still doing significant damage when he gets inside, but Tsypko has managed to fight more of this round at range. Takes a right hand after landing a left hand. Another right hand long for Lacy. Now they chop away at close range, and Lacy throws twice as many punches as Tsypko, but Tsypko lands a right hook and a left hand, and then a perfect right hook shot after the bell.
Lacy's working hard, so he's doing what he's supposed to do under these conditions.
Let's go to the locker room of Ike Bazooka Quartey. When he came out of Ghana in the late 1990s, he brought with him one of the greatest left jabs to be found anywhere in the sport. A tremendous shot that often rocked opponents in the first couple of rounds. And recently he's added a very good left hook that he showed in his outing against Vernon Forrest, August 5. The decision went to Forrest. Almost every ringside observer felt that Quartey deserved the win, and Ike said himself, "I think I'm the winner. That's why I got this fight."
Oh, there's no quit in me. I know that. Here, take a drink.
Lacy took a bad beating from Calzaghe, and he is taking a lot of punches again tonight, no matter what the result will be.
Good right hand by Lacy.
As Tsypko once again right there, a sitting duck, no head movement.
No, I don't think that.
Their heads come together again almost. The cut outside Tsypko's eye has not been a factor.
Even though they are putting ice on Jeff Lacy's shoulder, I don't think that's going to hurt him in the course of this fight. He's going to have to just hope that Tsypko doesn't become more aggressive and throw more punches, and he can still maybe work his way to win a decision in this fight.
Don't push it.
But I don't think the ice is going to have to shoulder during the fight.
Good uppercut by Lacy.
That's a beautiful right.
That right
jab,
hook,
cross, or whatever you want to call
that
it.
right hook
Because he didn't see it.
almost buckled the knees of Lacy.
Because he doesn't see that. Everybody looks for the southpaw straight left, and that's why I say a right hand from a southpaw is his best punch.
He's had a series of good right hooks in the last few minutes. So you say to yourself, well, who has Vitali Tsypko been fighting to get ready to fight Jeff Lacy? Well, maybe you've heard of Charles Adamu, or Alexander Zaitsev, or Lawrence Chapman, or Manda Mukaki, or Brian McGee, or Jackson Chenet. I got to confess, I have not.
Well, he's doing pretty good right here against Jeff Lacy.
And he keeps shooting straight left hands and quit lobbing them and shooting those right jabs and right hooks. He still has a good chance of winning this fight.
We're in round 8 of a scheduled 10. Lacy won the first couple of rounds clearly, easily, obviously. Looked as though he might be on a way to a knockout. Tsypko turned the fight around in rounds 3 and 4. And a tactical battle since then. Jeff Lacy, for his knockout reputation and his big left hook, has never had a knockout past the 8th round.
Stop, no punching. Step back.
Most big punchers are mostly dangerous early.
But you know, I've never looked at Jeff as a big puncher. That's what he looks at. He's more of a physically strong guy. They all getting wrapped up to the weight lifted and coming in with your body strong and looking good. But, you know, Mike Tyson was one of the few guys who was a muscular guy who really could punch. A lot of these guys who build up their body with weightlifting, they don't have that snap. Frank Bruno, you got a lot of them. And Lacy is not really a big puncher to me. I think he's just a strong puncher. A physically strong guy.
What's the difference between a big puncher and a strong puncher, Emmanuel?
One that knocks guys out. That's what Lacy's hurt.
Lacy's hurt. Tsypko right now wobbled him with a right hook. Just as Larry Merchant suggested early in the round, if Tsypko can land the right hook a little bit more aggressively.
Or was it the left? I don't know.
It was a little of both.
Yeah, the right hook, he didn't see it.
It was the right hook.
The pain, man. Move them hands inside. Come on, you got 2 rounds. You got 2 rounds. We need these 2. Take a drink, Jeff.
That's
what
what
I this, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Get to work.
That's what I was saying earlier. The right hook is what he should have been using more, and that's because nobody sees the right hook from a southpaw. And it wasn't so much it was a devastating punch, he didn't see the punch.
Lacy looked in that round almost as if he was ready to go. He's fighting an unranked fighter. He's fighting a tough, crowd-pleasing fight, the kind of fight he's fought through most of his career, but it is certainly not a dominant fight that he was hoping for.
2 judges from Florida, 1 from Michigan. Tsypko had the better numbers on power shots in the 8th round, 12 out of 25. Let's see what happens in the 9th. And then, at the beginning of the 10th, if we get that far, we'll show you Harold Letterman's scorecard to help set up the drama in round 10.
No pushing. Let's go.
Tsypko looks like the fresher man at this moment.
Oh, he's definitely fresher. But he's got to throw punches, OJ. One thing, he thinks too long, and his old saying in boxing, you think long, you think wrong. And that's just what he's doing. He's hesitating too much.
There he lands that roundhouse left and manages to get out of the way of Lacy's counter. And the jab lands for Tsypko. And again, Lacy hasn't really done anything here in the 9th. Tsypko has landed the more effective punches here.
And to be as vulnerable as Lacy is right now, regardless of what, whether he's exhausted, left shoulder, whatever, Tsypko should step it up a lot more. He's waiting too much.
Good left.
And then a right hook.
Left by Tsypko.
And a short right hook as they get into clinches.
No pushing.
Lacy lunging a little bit in this round. Tsypko taking advantage. Good quick right hook inside by Tsypko as Lacy walked into it again.
That's the key punch as Lacy's coming forward is the right hook.
Oh, let's go.
From Tsypko's. Now that left hand was effective because it was a straight left through the center and not the looping left that Tsypko was throwing in the earlier rounds.
1 minute to go in the 9th. This is not what Jeff Lacy's fans expected to see tonight in Tampa.
The right hooks again. Every time he steps back and shoots over short right hand punches, Lacy doesn't see him. He's always automatically watching the southpaw's left hand.
When Tsypko took off his gear at the weigh-in yesterday, various observers who had seen his relatively placid exterior and baby-faced, blonde-haired features were shocked at the strength of his body. And he is a sturdy fighter, as he's showing here tonight.
And in this round, he's beating the hell out of
But you know, when you're giving up rounds like he has and it's in the guy's hometown, he should be stepping to him a lot better than this. This is not really the way he should be fighting going into the 9th round of this type of a fight.
Surely no one would have advised Tsypko to make the long trip from Ukraine thinking that he could win a close decision on Jeff Lacy's home turf.
He might can, but he's not still fighting a small fight.
Lacy lands a right hand. That was a big round for Vitali Tsypko, with the sole exception of that right hand by Lacy down the stretch. 1 round to go.
Okay, the last round. Please stay concentrated. Okay, and keep. And by the way, be more active. That's what I'm begging you.
Listen, let me talk. Stay close. Work your way close with the straight punches and stay right on top of them. With your tight defense, we got to have this round. We got to have this round. Finish strong, baby. We got to have this round. We're going to give this away if you don't have this round. Come on.
Jeff Lacy looked slightly discouraged as Dan Birmingham tried to prime him for this last round, saying several times, we got to have it. Got to have this round. Tsypko is 17 out of 32 punches in the last round. Is he throwing enough? The trainer doesn't think so. Harold, how do you have it through now?
Okay, Jim, 86, 85, 5 rounds to 4, Jeff Lacy. You know, he had that big early lead, but Vitali Tsypko comes back and wins round 8 and 9 to make this fight very, very close. If Tsypko continues with the momentum that he's got to draw. But I got to tell you something, Jim. Tsypko's killing himself by throwing one punch at a time. He should throw some combinations. All he lands is one shot, he stops.
If you're landing half of 32 punches, throw 50 or 60. See if you can keep landing at that rate.
Let's go.
I have it 4-4-1. An even fight.
Straight right hand by Lacy.
The thing about it wouldn't even have to be a decision, I don't think, if Tsypko would step it up. Particularly if he would shoot a right uppercut a lot when they start getting near those clinches, which definitely Lacy wouldn't see, but it could go to a decision, but it don't have to be in this fight. Lacy is very vulnerable.
Let's assume that Lacy goes on to win a decision here on his home turf, Emmanuel Stewart. Does this performance raise new questions about his career?
Yes, because he's been fighting one-dimensionally, you know, but it raises a lot of questions.
Great combination by Tsypko there, left followed by right. Now he lands another straight left.
And he's taken a lot of punishment in 2 consecutive fights. And believe me, you don't take the kind of punishment he's taken in this fight and with Calzaghe, and it'll have an effect on him.
Well, I think no matter what the result, everyone's going to come out here saying either he's not the fighter they thought he was, or he was always somewhat overrated because he was a tough, crowd-pleasing American fighter.
Or they're going to say there was nothing left after what Calzaghe did.
That's again, you see him get off balance every time he throws it, but all this guy's to do is to step back and throw a clean right hook as he pulls back. Either right uppercut. Fight would be over with.
Stop, no punching. Stop, let him break. Let's give him a clean break.
Fight may still be on the table with a minute to go.
Very well, because I have it almost dead even. If Tsypko wins this round, it's still be in the Moscow, but be close to being.
Haven't seen Lacy do anything to suggest to me that he's winning the round.
Well, he's trying, that's for sure. And if he's got a good lead up, all he has to do is try to stay on his feet.
There's a right hand landing inside for Jeff Lacy.
Let him go.
And that's
now Lacy trying to let his hands go and do some scoring down the stretch of this round. There's that left up and under and the right hook combination again for Tsypko, and he's landing his right hook with laser precision.
He's throwing
by Lacy.
But he's throwing one punch still. He's like used to that the amateur system where you land the punch, you don't throw combinations, you want to make sure the judge is scoring.
Big right hook. Tsypko wobbled Lacy momentarily with the left hook, or the right hook, and now Lacy comes back and tries to get in one more right. A spirited effort by both fighters in the 10th round.
A good fight. Whatever interpretation we want to put on it, the most important thing was it was a good fight.
Outstanding.
The second or third round. Early. I know. But I don't. His hand.
Yeah. You hear Jeff Lacy, or you see Jeff Lacy pointing to his shoulder, telling manager Shelley Finkel, I hurt my shoulder in the 3rd round. Harold Letterman gave the 10th round to Tsypko and sees this fight as a draw. 95-95 in the last 3 rounds by CompuBox numbers. Vitali Tsypko landed 51 punches to only 18 for Jeff Lacy.
I gave that fight by a point to Tsypko.
Let's tell you who the judges are who will be yielding the official decision here. Paul Herman from Florida, 11 title fights, and scored 116-112 for Tarver in the 3rd fight with Jones. Not a terribly difficult fight to score. Mike Pernick, licensed in both Florida and Michigan, 38 title fights. Also scored Tarver Jones 3, 116-112. And finally, Mark Streisand, 13 title fights from Florida, had Joel Casamayor winning big over Santana. There's the cut man Malcolm Walker, who did a very good job of keeping Vitali Tsypko in the fight after the cut outside his eye in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah, Malcolm Garrett.
Malcolm Garrett, excuse me. And now, ring announcer Lupe Contreras has the official decision in Jeff Lacy, Vitali Tsypko.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, the official scorecard reads as follows. Judge Michael Pernick scores about 95-95, a draw. And judges Herman and Streisand scored about identically at 96-94. For the winner, by way of majority decision, Jeff Left Hook Lacy.
So Jeff Lacy survives a close call with Vitali Tsypko and earns the 22nd victory of his career. That mission is accomplished, but not the resounding result that Lacy's camp and his fans would have hoped for. Lands 130, Tsypko lands 148. Tsypko landing at a significantly higher percentage through the fight. Power punches. Tsypko landed more. At the end of the day, despite the landslide of the first couple of rounds, when Lacy seemed to be landing every straight right, Tsypko winds up with the edge in power shots, and look at the connect percentage. Tsypko landing 46%, Lacy 32%. Two judges found a way to mark the scorecards for Jeff Lacy, and as I mentioned to Emanuel Stewart, Vitali Tsypko would have been given bad advice if he thought he was going to travel all the way from Ukraine and win a close one-point decision over Jeff Lacy.
And I couldn't complain about the decision, even if I was in Tsypko's corner. It was a close fight, and if a fight doesn't end in a knockout, then it becomes a mathematical thing. And when you start adding up the rounds, you know, it could have went either way. But I thought what was more frustrating with me was the fact that Tsypko could have won the fight very convincingly, I thought, if he'd have stepped it up the last two rounds.
And thrown more punches, which is what his trainer wanted him to do. Larry Merchant, it's a win for Jeff Lacy, but what did it do for or against him?
I think it leaves as many question marks at the end of the night as there were coming into the fight. Let me disagree with my esteemed colleague, Emanuel.
Please do. It's wildly entertaining when you do.
If he could do all the things Emanuel hoped that he could do, he'd be a different fighter. He'd be a better fighter. He'd be a ranked fighter. And he'd be beating everybody up. But he's not that fighter. He came, he fought a hard, tough fight against a young American fighter who was really tried his best coming off that horrible, horrible defeat 9 months ago. It took him 9 months to give birth to this one, and I don't know if we're going to ever see him beat a real elite fighter.
Tsypko won the last round on 2 of 3 scorecards. What was the third judge watching?